Hi everyone, in this video we'll be making an Angelite LED acrylic sign that you can use as your decoration or give it as a gift, so without further ado, let's do it. I had an old piece of acrylic laying around from the salmon game, and I thought to myself, what could I do with it to reuse it? Then I thought about acrylic signs, you see, this one or this one. Then I looked for the price, and they are so expensive. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to create my own. But before that, let's make something clear. There are lots of tutorials on the internet for that. And so why am I doing one? Well, I wanted for everyone to be able to do this, so I made it as simple as possible and as little material requiring as possible. So basically, all you need is a support, a piece of acrylic, and an LED strip. Of course, with its power supply. So for the base, you could use any kind of modeling clay such as Suru, Protobody, or you could go for wood if you have a wood saw, or laser cutter, or an old PVC box, or simply 3D print it. By the way, to make a better project, I would recommend you to find anything that provides the same things as a Fab Lab. For those of you who don't know what a Fab Lab is, it's basically a small-scale workshop equipped with a variety of tools, and some are free or rent in exchange of a service. So I went for wood because I had a leftover, and I wanted my project to be only made from materials I already had. You need to cut the acrylic to the size, dimensions and shape you want. If your acrylic is 2 mm thick, a simple office cutter, and that you use to cut repeatedly along the same line, will do the job. If it's thicker, I would recommend using a Dremel, but I prefer heating a knife and then cutting by melting the acrylic. Just be careful, the fumes of the melting acrylic aren't good for your health, so it's better if you do it in a well-ventilated area. Then you will need an LED strip. When buying one, you need to be careful about 4 main things. Firstly, it is important to look at the number of LEDs per length. If you want a brighter output and a higher light quality, you should look for the strips that have the highest number of LEDs for a certain length. If the LEDs are spaced too far apart, they could produce spotty lighting instead of a constant line of light. Secondly, as technology improves, LED strips continue to reach brighter capabilities. This does not mean that you need the brightest LED strip. The brightness is measured in lumens per length. A reference value for accent lighting is probably not anything brighter than 200 lumens per foot. Next, you need to consider the colors of the LED strips. They come in a wide range of single colors as well as multicolor strips, or RGB. Finally, all these factors will influence the powering of your LED strip. The first key factor is the wattage. Finding the total wattage using the watt per meters will not only help you find an adequate power supply, but will also let you know how much electricity you will be using with your new setup. So with this, you need to find the adequate power supply, taking into consideration the type and amount of current and voltage required. And now we'll look at the most interesting part of the project, the edge lighting, and the whole magic of the project. Edge lighting is a fairly basic idea. When you shine an LED through a clear substance, like a piece of glass or acrylic, it just goes straight through. But if you give it something to reflect off, such as a rough surface, it will refract the light and thus making the area visible. When you intentionally rough up or engrave a specific pattern, it will light up, making a nice LED lit sign. The final step is engraving. For that, print a black and white model of a heart, a text, an animal or a flower, and then secure it to one side of the acrylic with some tape. Remove the protective sheeting only from one side, and then you're ready to go.
The best way to engrave is to use a Dremel tool or any rotary tool, but for those who don't have one, you can use a knife or anything sharp, because the acrylic scraps really easily. And here's a tip: it's much easier to do natural shapes, because the defects you create give them a nice look.
Then you just assemble it with some glue, any kind of glue, and power it up. And that's it. You've made your own nifty looking edge-lit LED sign. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share or subscribe, and tell us in the comments what you've done. I will see you next time. Bye.